What's going on? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? See who all we got here today. We got Nate McDonald Broccoli, Melly Games, Shadow Players, Hassan, what's up? Simon, Sir Spoonie's here. Sufsia plays, Terminator, the one, the only Terminator. Dustin, what's up? Levy, how are you? Quentin, Galaxy, RJ Gant, Melon Wolf, Hazardnet, Daniel, Dylan, Yo. Stub Gaming, how's it going? How do you get oil servo? It just is a random drop. It's not something you want though. Or there's no such thing as an oil servo. You can get an oil chip, but there is no oil servo. They don't want us making craziness out of our defenses. And a oil servo, an ice chip, or an ice servo, if those existed, oh man, we would be breaking some stuff, let me tell you. Alright, so before I get started here today, I've got a lot of people telling me that some slows are working on chrome enemies, so I want to pop in there and test it out real quick. Now, what chromed enemies means is they cannot be crowd controlled. I know it pops up on the screen, it says no knock up and stun. There's no crowd control altogether. However, some things like the Frozen Path mod and then the effect, the frost damage effect of Frostfire Remnants can slow enemies. But before I get started here on any public matches, which we will be doing today, by the way, I want to hop in here and check out a few different forms of slow and see what's working and what's not. Quite a few people do, Melon. Dryad Shrooms. Dryad Shrooms would be a good call. The main thing I'm concerned about is the defenses. And the other thing that can be confusing is the visuals still apply. So first things first, let's take a look at the boost aura. Make sure I've got grasp on there. I do. Alright, so I mean it should be pretty easy just to see if they hit the brakes when they hit the boost aura. Oh shoot, they're not going to throw at it. That's alright, the enemies will still walk through. Alright, there is no boost aura slow, so that slow is out. Oh come on, go destroy the core for God's sakes, let's get this over with. Yeah, I did Frostfire. I mean, everybody tested Frostfire. Everybody's got it on. Or not everybody, but Frostfire is one of those ones that just gets tested for you. Alright. Let's see, what else do we have? Frostbite towers. Theoretically, a Frostbite tower shouldn't attack at all. Actually, I could have put those two in one. Yeah, that animation when they're frozen and still kind of gliding along. It does look pretty funny. Alright, let's see. Where's the Frostfire at? Yeah, you should get it pretty quick, Clinton. Most people got theirs already, the people that originally ordered. Alright, so like I said, theoretically, these shouldn't even fire. But let's see if they do. They're firing, but is there any slow going on? There is no slow going on. All you have to do is complete the regen and it automatically unlocks for you. It just pops up on your screen like a normal shard would. That was the big two. I guess proton beams. Need to check proton beams too. We will see. I know a lot of folks are... This is actually one of the easier maps as far as the difficulty scaling goes. Well, thanks there, Sultan. Welcome. I'm just testing slow. Some people are telling me that slows are working, and I don't think that slows are working. I think that it's just the visual effect of the slow is being applied, and the enemy's not actually getting slowed. So, I just wanted to double check. I don't want to put any bad info out there, you know? So, if people telling me some of their slows are working, then of course I need to double check it and see if that is legit, or if somebody needs to put the pipe down. Let's see. Alright, Lady Orcs are already immune, so we can't look at them. No, no slow from proton beams either. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and say... Well, I'll check the Dryad. If the Dryad won't slow them, then nothing will slow them, right? The Dryad is the master of the slowage. Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, Melon Wolf, but that's just an easy response. You just don't use those. You don't use Frostbite on a lane that can't be slowed. I hear you, though. It would be nice to get your Frosty Power up in there. The gear... Yeah, well, no, it's a bug. It's going to be fixed. It's fixed on PC now. It'll be fixed in consoles next week. But they put the hotfix already on PC. What's going on there, Mondream? Alright, let's see. What else was it? Dryad. I mean, literally, if the Dryad can't slow it, nothing can. Alright, the Dryad slow still works. So, I guess some things do still work, but I didn't see anything on a defense that would work. But, I mean, that's clearly slowing them, right? Yeah, they're, like, creeping. Alright, so Dryad slow. Dryad slow definitely works. The update's great, Stoney. Just anxious. This is like this little tease at the beginning, though. Although we got 6 maps, it's the 6 easiest maps out of all of them. Snaking Sands. Yeah, I guess I could have checked that one, too. I'll pop back in and check it real quick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the additional content. That, and I can't believe they've already spilled the beans on exactly what was coming. That's very unchromatic-like, or untrendy-like, for them to give us the info. We already know Betsy's the last boss. It's like dream come true, right? I mean, it's the most iconic boss fight in the game, in my opinion. I am so, so anxious to kill Betsy when she's a beast. Alright, let's see. Where are we at? Where are we at? Chrome enemies. Let me check that real quick, and then I'll be done with the testing. I won't bore you all to death here. I just wanted to make sure that we could all see it, you know? It's all right there on the screen. Well, the list is already there, Melon. We already know what's coming. They put it in the patch notes. I actually kind of... I don't know. It's just... It's so untrendy or chromatic-like that I almost think it was an accident. But yeah, they've already put out all the maps, what they're all going to be. Exclamation patch in chat. We'll get you a list to them. Alright, let's see. Snaking Sands. Let's see what you got. Nope. Nothing. So it looks like no tower CC, but heroes, of course, can still do it. But I think this is why people are having a problem with this map, is you see the pop-up message saying no knock-up or stun, and they're not using knock-up and stun, but other stuff isn't working. You know? Yeah, the Eye of Cthulhu, too. The Dawn of the Blood Moon map, that's the next to the last one. It's going to be so hard. I am anxious to see that map. Come on. There we go. Alright, let's get in, let's get some maps done, huh? This is going to be a relatively short stream today. I've got some stuff I want to do this afternoon, so, it's gonna be a little shorty. I do apologize for that, but let's bring a lava mancer just because. You never know when you might need a volcano, right? And let's not pass up any incredible deals in case there's something for sale here that's just too good to be true. Where are you at? Too good to be true item? I would always suggest everyone look through shops every time they go to town. Was that somebody named Juicebox? Yeah, it was. The hell are they? What's going on with that? Alright, looks like we've seen all we can see there. Petrify is a stun. Electrocute is also a stun. Alright, well, speaking of chrome enemies, let's do it, huh? Let's do it for real this time. So, my suggestion for people that are struggling with this map is don't use any of your defenses that have crowd control. Go full damage. Full damage, full face roll. Full face roll. There we go. Everyone will know now, that's for sure. The Terraria crossover was the most brilliant piece of work Dungeon Defenders did in their entire, or Dungeon Defenders 2 did in their entire life. I think that was the most wonderful thing, and it brought so many people to the community. So, I mean, I would agree with you 1000% over there, Melonwolf. Well, it's an easy map, Quicksilver. It's very easy to overpower the map, you know? Alright, so we want full CC, or no CC. We're going to just go full damage. So, which means I'm going to take my boosted grasp out, as it's not going to do me any good. Let's go with boosted power instead. We'll get some buffage down there. It's only 150 DU. We got more DU to spend. We've already got a reflect beam in. Let's just get some snakes, right? I mean, how do you say no to snakes? The thing that I believe is confusing a lot of folks is the graphics still go off. Like, the slow animation is still there. The frozen animation is all still there. All that stuff is still there. And I think people are getting confused by that fact. Now, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but that would be my guess. So we're just full face roll, right? We don't need nothing but face roll. This is actually... Was this the easiest or the second easiest? I don't remember. As far as the power level of the enemies. This was either the first or second easiest map in all of Incursions. So that's the only thing that's throwing people off, really, is that crowd control. Alright, what did I say? I said if we got room for volcanoes, we need volcanoes, right? By God, let's get a volcano. Oh, not enough juice. That's alright. I'll get the juice. I'll get the juice. Gridlock's Horde, I think, is the easiest. I don't know. I did a video and I went through all the numbers on all of them. Yeah, Gridlock's Horde was the easiest. These enemies are only 10,000 mob health, or 10,000 power level. So, that's very, very low in comparison. What's going on, John? How you doing? Long time no see. Davniel, what up, what up? A long time no see for you too. Good to see some of the DD2 veterans coming back around. There's a not chrome flyer. Oh, I believe it. I mean, we all know that bugginess slips into the DD2 stuff quite regularly. Alright, we got a volcano now. Life is good again. So yeah, I mean, now it should... Now I'm obviously overpowering the match. Because I've got gear... Although this is Chaos 8 difficulty, if you combine Chaos 8 gear plus 10 of 10 relics, you're going to OP the difficulty. Yeah, I mean, imagine how strong you would be with fully upgraded Chaos 7 gear with all 10 of 10 relics in Chaos 7. You're going to wreck it, right? Yeah, everything is just evaporating. But yeah, anyway, so anyone having trouble with this map, the answer is really ignore the CC, go full damage, throw it all down, and go make a sandwich. Put bacon on it. Gots to get that bacon up in there. Now watch, it'll give me weapons from Prime 1, and I'm really looking for the weapons from Prime 2, and then I won't get any of the Prime 2 weapons. Well, yeah, I think that's a given there, Stoney. You gotta have the juice. Must have the juice. Everything just evaporating now. Hey, you ran out of bacon. Alright, well, I mean, if you're out of bacon, Davniel, then of course you've got a good reason. Having bacon and not cooking the bacon, that's unacceptable. But if you don't have the bacon, then you don't have the bacon, you know? I mean, what can you do? This next week, we're only getting one map. That's the you know... I mean, I love everything I see about it so far. I'm anxious to get into the higher difficulties and play this tougher stuff. The one thing I do wish is that it wasn't strung out over such a massively long period of time. I liked getting 6 maps in week 1, and I'm glad they gave us a little something to stare at up front. But the 1 map a week thing... It's just, I wish it was at least 2 or 3 maps a week. Oh, grats there, Chris. 1000 Ascension, very nice. Well, Twitch may have disabled your notifications. You might have to go back in and manually put them there, Super Vega. I stream there at the normal times, so it's noon Pacific time, Tuesday through Friday. You slide off the volcano? Perfect. No sliding off the volcano on board. I want to get all 6 maps done today, though. So I'm going to do them one at a time and queue out. Like I said, this is going to be a shorter stream. But I do want to do all 6 maps. So we'll have the 6 done here today. No, this is the last update. Well, other than the updates we're going to have every week for the next 9 weeks. We're going to get a new Incursion map every week, Davniel. Besides that, we probably won't see another update in a long while, would be my guess. It's going to be full focus on DDA. But every Wednesday at, I thought they said 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we're going to get a new map added. The last 2 maps are the shit. I can't wait. The last 2 maps. Dawn of the Blood Moon and Betsy. That's going to be just so awesome. They're used to it, sadly. I mean, obviously, you know, I feel for anybody in Florida right now. Hopefully they're all safe. But the people that have been there lifelong, they've got plans for stuff like this because it's such a regular occurrence, sadly. So yeah, they've got the windows boarded up already at Cromyville there. Florida's just right out there, you know. It gets whacked. Everything that comes through just nails it. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to go through and do one of each. You guys ready for this? I went crazy today. I'm drinking a whipped orange Rockstar Boom. It sounds very fancy, but it actually tastes pretty good. It's a little sweet. A little bit sweet. Well, no weapons yet. Let me put these away so they're not in my way here. Alright, get my booster fixed back. And away we go. Yeah, I hit 8,000 on stream, yesterday, I think. There's a hurricane hitting Florida right now, Davniel. It's, I haven't looked today to see where it's at, but there's a hurricane rolling in. Gonna tear some stuff up. Oh, are you in Florida, Melanoff? Well, stay safe. Stay safe, whatever you do. Alright, let's do Gribs. We'll get the other... Gribs is the easiest one. Let's see. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. How do you spell squeezy? Is that even a word? That's how I'm going to spell it. Squeezy. It's all in my Boostar Spotlight video, Daniel. But basically, I either use Boosted Grasp. I use Boosted Grasp 99% of the time. It's the reason I use a Boostar. The amount of power you gain from a Boostar is really not significant compared to the DU. You can, I mean, as long as you're stuffing a lot of defenses in it, of course, the more defenses in it, the more value you get. But to me, the big benefit of the Boostar is the slow. It's got a very impressive slow on it. So now, however, we can go with some CC. In fact, let's just do the old 1 amp warrior build, huh? Oops, is that the wrong hero? That's the wrong hero. Look at me go. Wondering why stuff won't work. I got the wrong hero. So basically here we got Petrify. We've got two different slows. We got the Boost Star slow and the Proton Beam slow. And then we've got an additional stun off of the Proton Beam freeze. Looks like the other lanes are all done, so it should be GG. Alright, take it easy, Stony. Enjoy. $2.5 mil for the new one? I mean, if that was a standard weapon, I wouldn't pay anywhere near that. Unless it had really, really good rolls on it. But if that was the new weapon, I'd pay that in a second. I mean, getting a regular 4 per second heavy polearm is not that big of a deal. I mean, those drop all the time. But yeah, I mean, if that's the Deathwing, that's a great deal. The other one doesn't look as cool, in my opinion. I want the Deathwing personally. I would settle for 3 spread, a 5 spread or a 3 spread, as long as it's 4 shots per second. That way you get your crane stance procced, and as long as you don't miss, you get your crane stance popped in 2 shots. So you got full stacks of crane stance in half a second. It's for maximizing each one with their ascension recommended. The more heroes you have of, or the real convenience from high ascension is not the power you gain out of it. It's the being able to maximize more than one thing on a hero. So like at lower ascension, you have one hero for flame auras, one hero for lightning strikes, one for sky guards, etc. But that is why you do it. Oh, nice onboard. These Lady Orcs dragging up the rear here. Bringing up the rear. We got 2 more in there still. Well, I mean, if you've got 100 points to spend, wouldn't you want to put those 100 points into, say it's your Flame Aura Monk, you'd want all 100 of those points into your Flame Auras. And it makes that Flame Aura stronger. If you wanted to say you wanted to do Flame Auras and Lightning Strike Auras, and you only have 100 points for that category, well, you would have to put 50 into one and 50 into the other, and neither one of them would be as strong as they could be if you had all the points into one. Superconductor is not really something you need on a Nuke Monk. That would be better. Superconductor would be better on a monk that is ability power. Any ability power hero, that's a great addition, really. A Nuke Monk wouldn't need it though. It would be a wasted shard slot. It's just like DD1 was. In DD1 you'd have one EV2 for walls, one EV2 for buff beams, whatever, I'm assuming it's the same way DDA will be too. The difference is DDA, we won't have to pay for the character slots, which is nice. No microtransactions, so you just make as many heroes as you can hold, right? We got, September's just about here. And the beta's supposed to start in the early November. So, I mean, we basically were 2 months and a week away from a DDA beta, which feels like forever. Nah, shielding explosive guard is junk, Andrew. It only works on blockades. A reflect beam is not a blockade. It's not anything you're ever going to use. I covered that in my video. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that that one is thrown in up front, but it's a junk shard. You're just never going to have a need to use it. Because my weapon manufacturers are providing the earth damage, and my proton beams are providing the poison damage. And that is creating the petrify combo. If you're using protons in a weapon manufacturer, my guess would be that you've got water on the proton and then the storm damage on the weapon manufacturer, and that's creating the electrocute combo, would be my guess. But I mean, protons are really good, incredible slow. Just look at them, slow to 35%. They're an amazing slow. So I mean, proton beams are a nice addition to any build. That one's the AFK shard, Andrew. Radiant power, or radiant critical power. If you ever want to AFK something just to complete your dailies or whatever, you pop that shard in and then you just stand in your defenses. It buffs everything around you, and then you, once again, go make a sandwich. With bacon. There's no confirmed date yet, but it's February 2020. Davnio, is when it is scheduled for full launch. You can AFK for rollers, you just gotta set up for it. If you're not built for it, then of course you can't. But if you're built for it, you can. Lots of things will kill rollers without you being involved. Yeah, the key is, Quentin, is you got to get that petrify out of there. Like I'm using petrify now. What you would want to do there is double stack destruction and mass destruction. Speaking of, we're beating the incursions here and I don't even have a shard in my reflect beam right now. That's so funny. Let's see, I'll get it fixed after this wave. I moved mass destruction over to my flame auras yesterday to test some maps, and I forgot to move it back. Anyway, for reflect beams, reflect beam roller killing, you want to remove any petrify, because petrify throws off the double damage at the hitbox. And then build it with double destruction stacks instead of, mass destruction and regular destruction instead of using the shattering torpedo. That's it, Nate. If you're not getting it, then you need to submit a ticket to Chromatic. I've heard one other person say they weren't getting it, though. So I know you're not alone there. If you didn't get it, it's some kind of a bug. What's going on there, Not a Pro? How you doing today? Anyway, for... look at that. Empty shard slot. That's so beautiful. What do I want in there? I mean, I want just destruction in there, right? Or I want mass in there. Who am I fooling? Let's go with, we got a vamp. Here's a vamp. We'll go with it. No, let's go with, where are you at? Defense rate. There it is. Let's go with Encroaching Flames as our third. I really like this Aura setup that I'm going with now. I use the third shot as a utility, or the third slot as a utility shard. It's so nice. Just being able to swap that one out. If I've got a heavy frost lane, I pop that last one out of there, and I put in a defense rate. And then I overcap the rate. If I've got a big cyborg lane and I still want to spam R's in there, then I pop in automation. Right now I don't need any of that stuff, so just going with power. So I'm going to go with Encroaching Flames. Alright, let's get that. Let's keep getting it here. No, you get double for going to shiny. If you go pristine modes to shiny modes, it's double. Pristine to plain has always been just one, sadly. Right, let's get some blinking in our life here, huh? What the hell, that'll work. Juice playing. Yeah, I'm using Gilded Shards on everything, Quicksilver. I mean, you don't need Gilded Shards on some defenses, but every defense that you need a Gilded Shard for, I'm using a Gilded Shard. Destruction, Deadly Strikes, Destruction, and Defense Rate are still really the kingpins there, Davniel. Shattering Torpedo is really good for the Petrify builds. Well, they're set. Which shards you get. Oh, you mean next week? Well, next week we won't get a Hyper Shard, because we'll have to clear the whole region. So next week we're only getting one map, so there won't be another Hyper Shard next week. We'll have to wait 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember. You'd have to look at the patch notes. Move that out of the way, put it there. Oh crap, man. Did I spawn camp? That's a little bit close too. You shouldn't ever spawn camp this map, because if you kill the enemy inside the spawn, then you can't get the gold. I always forget and do it anyway, but ideally you keep your defenses outside of the spawns. Is this one out far enough? This one's even close. I'm going to move this aura back a little. It's just too close. We'll put it over here. There we go. That gives plenty of room for the mobs to come out. That, I mean, it allows you, when you're not trying to just stuff everything right up their butt, right up front, it allows you to pick the better choke points anyway. It's never the right thing to do to stuff it all right in their face. It's just we overpower the content right now, so that's what we do. The hyper shards you'll automatically get for completing each zone, Davniel. Yeah, there is a bug on this map with skeletons spawning over close to the core. There's several maps like that. This is not the only one. That's questionable too, but that's good enough. I've been pretty lucky and haven't really seen it a whole lot. I mean, what do we do here? We can go with another Skyguard just for giggles, but there's really no point in it. Do I have any what, Andrew? I'm not really sure what you're asking. I don't plan on doing any more Ancient Power resets, if that's what you were asking. I'm done with all that. Thank God. I actually haven't been doing all that much, John. I mean, me not doing all that much is more than most people probably would do. I've done probably 200 maps. I don't really know what you mean by RR, but no, I don't plan on doing any more resets. I'm done. I've done 65. I don't feel the need to do any more. Where you at, Gold? Here's one. I mean, use whatever you want there, Sacred. I mean, there is no map in the game where you must use this one certain build. You can always use whatever you want. I mean, it's all about getting to the windscreen, right? The Adept is super fun to play. The Apprentice is super fun to play. They're both really fun heroes. There's no doubt there. Where'd it go? There's one. I see it, I see it. He's gonna get it. Beat me to it. That's alright, there's another one right here. And there's another one in the lane. Well, I mean, Earth Shatters are beasts. I mean, you wouldn't make it very far in Onslaught doing that, but as far as getting through the game to Chaos 7, oops. As far as getting through the game to Chaos 7, you would wreck it with Earth Shatters, Sacred. Watching from Saudi Arabia. Well, welcome. Sorry to keep you up so late. Lady York's got sneaky. Not paying attention. Very easy to do. Tried to solo Gribs and only made it to wave 3. Because you still have campaign gear. You mean Nightmare, you need Chaos 1 Griblocks, I take it? I mean, if you made it to wave 3, you made it into the money waves, so you'll be making loot. So you should just naturally go out. I think it's because there's no volcano. It's the weapon manufacturer lanes. Weapon mans don't hold up in a 4-player group as well as they do solo or doubles or whatever. A lot of mobs have a natural or have a scaling immunity based off of how many players are in the group, and a lot of people are unaware of that. Oh well, I'm confident I could do Gribs in campaign gear if I had just done a reset because of my ascension. I mean, it's the easiest difficulty, you know. I'm sure you can do it. You just need to do it. Just try it again. Change your build up a little or something, and I'm sure you'll do it. It's just barely a step up. It's like wave or floor 40-ish equivalent. So it's not a huge step up over where you would be at Chaos 7 anyway. So anyone that can do Chaos 7 should be able to do Gribs. I mean, that's just shouldn't be an issue for you at all. No damage resistance, it's resistance to crowd control. The more players in the group, mobs that already have a natural resistance to crowd control will just end up walking right through your defenses, because all natural resistances get increased in a full group. Alright, we should be good now. But yeah, your damage will still be the same. You're going to put the damage out, but the crowd control will be diminished. Why do I feel like I put that with the wrong? That's not the wrong here, but I just feel like it is. All the more reason to solo Onslaught. I mean, Onslaught is without a doubt easier soloable. The only map that I would disagree with that is the Lost Temple. It's just such a big map that if something goes wrong, it's always on the other side of the map, right? So if you have two people, then of course it's going to be easier to catch any leaks. But every other map, in my opinion, is much easier solo than it is in a group. Assuming you're the primary builder and everything, you know? It's like we got all the environmental ones. Man, I'm not seeing any gold sitting. And we only need one more, too. I personally wouldn't take that route, but it would work, Envy. I mean, it would work and there would be nothing wrong with it. I would go... I'm not using Weapon Mans at all right now, which kind of makes me sad, to be honest. Because I love them. It's the coolest looking defense in the game. I mean, the thing looks badass, right? But I'm not using them at all right now. But if I were to use them, I would go with... still go with Shocking Revelations. But then put Water Elemental on it. Nah, you can't put both there. Reflect beams can't be attuned to an element type, so you can't put poison on the reflect beams. That would be cool. But they ain't having it. Oh, I got dive bombed, I think. I was so close to the gold. I think in DDA we'll end up having more straightforward crowd control that won't be combo dependent like we have now in DD2. It'll be more like DD1. You know, you guys know about the gas traps. There will be something along the lines of gas traps, hopefully gas traps, in DDA. They're going to be changing some of the abilities and defenses. You know, I'm curious as to exactly what's going to be changed. I think Sultan is actually translating, is what's going on there, y'all. Sultan has helped out in the comments section of quite a few of my other videos. I enabled for anyone that is bilingual, or I guess with a lot of you all speak more than 2 languages even, but anyone that's bilingual, I did enable the subtitle translations where the community could put them in. So if anybody ever wants to do that, you can by all means do it. I know that there's some in Portuguese now. There's a few translations for the folks from Brazil on a couple of videos. So by all means, don't matter where you live, as long as we can all play games, it'll be a better place, right? Ew, what the heck? He didn't take my gold. There we go. That would be awesome, Quentin. That would be amazing. I think we might be frostfire in the gold, huh? And here comes one. You just took them all? That's fair. Hey, I am the laziest mofo out there. I got no problem with y'all stealing all the gold from me. 1 week till high school starts. Oh, man. Almost there. They've already started here where I live. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to be changing my stream schedule soon during the week because of school going back into session, really. Not just because of that, because I stay up too damn late at night and I can't get up early in the morning, but I'm going to be moving my stream times back to 3 p.m. Pacific time starting really soon. Yeah, you can get more. I think that was my fault. I think I blew that gate lock up bringing those kobolds over there. It's alright. We got leftover DU, so it doesn't even matter. No, I guess we don't. We don't need the Skyguard there now. Virginia school starts on Tuesday. Very nice. I'm sure students are not very stoked about that. But I'm sure parents are. School has its benefits. There's one that we frost-fired. See, I wasn't imagining things. There's stuck gold back in there. Sweet. As long as we don't get any hex throwers here, we'll be fine. I'm going to camp this lane though, just to make sure. Or I'll let him camp that lane. We don't need 2 of us there for sure. Yeah, you want to upgrade your existing one, so it'll basically cost you an amp. You want to upgrade your existing weapon to Chaos 8 first, and then transfer the mods over. If not, they'll stay at C7 values. In fact, I probably should do a video about that. Because I know people are doing it, and then they're like, what? Where's my stuff? You know? They're not realizing. I mean, putting mods onto a C8 item does not give you free upgraded mods. You gotta upgrade it first. What's going on there, Jello? I appreciate it there, Sultan. I've already put that out there, Sacred Apple. I put that out there on the first day. In the little day one overview video thingy, I put that out there. Omni's trying to get me to play some Minecraft now, Jello. None of those weapons are basically worth selling because they get transferred down to C7. So, I mean, you would have to really, really want it for it to be worth it. The benefit is having all those crafting materials already dumped into it, you know? They won't stack, but you'll be able to use them on 2 different defenses. Speaking of, let's check around here. Check around, see what's going on in these shops. Can't pass that up. I just purchased items from the Master Braider. Dude can braid, let me tell you. It's Prime 1, Envy. You complete the 3 maps in Prime 1, you get the shard. So, looking at the war table here. Oops. Prime 1 gives you, or not mass destruction, derp, I'm lying. Prime 1 gives you destructive pylon, which means you have to complete these 3 maps, and it's like a quest. Once you complete it, it will unlock automatically. It'll pop up on your screen just like a regular shard would, or like a bonus shard would. Prime 2 is going to give you explosive shielding guard, meaning if you complete these 3 maps, you're automatically going to earn explosive shielding guard. And then there's going to be another region, Prime 3, I'm assuming, that opens next week, and it's only going to have 1 map in it. So we're going to have to wait for the other maps to come before we can complete that region. So next week we won't be getting Piper Shard. We'll have to wait until the entire region is there. Alright. So where are we off to now? Now we're moving on to Prime 2, right? So why don't we start off with the Wyvern Enthusiasts. We'll do them in order of difficulty. Actually, that would be Demon Slayer first. Let's just do the Wyvern Enthusiast anyway, since I'm here. There's been rumor that that was taken away there, Miklos. I'm not positive about that because I haven't done it. But it used to be you got 150 gems for completing each zone in Adventures, each of the little regions. So if you completed all of Adventures, you got 450. But some new people have told me that they've completed it and they haven't gotten them, so that may have been taken out. I'm gonna put a backup flyer anti-air over here, just in case. What's going on there, praying gods? How you doing? Gonna have to wait until this guy's done. Who is that? Gumball Watterson. Come on, dude, really? I'm doing good. Saturday, I actually got a bunch of stuff I've got to do. But, you know, I just enjoy Saturdays. I don't know. All the years, I guess, in the corporate world, back before I even started in casinos, and I had Saturdays off, it just makes you really like Saturdays. Of course, once I started in a casino business, there was no getting any Saturdays off. That was it was on Saturdays. I use Boosted Grasp, Destruction, and Deadly Strikes. C8 amps are down to about 2 million now on PC, Luis. We shouldn't need them, but apparently stuff is leaking. A couple of upgrades should take care of that. I wanted to throw a snake here, but I don't have a mystic in my deck at the moment. I'll get a snake here at the end of the wave. Destruct just increases the damage boost. The only slow you get out of a boost star is Boosted Grasp. That's why I just always feel like if you can slow a lane, that's a required shard. For me personally, I'm always going to use it. It's just a really good slow. Ezra, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean, if you're a grinder, you gotta realize, Terminator, that you do more maps in one day than most people would do in a month. So you gotta look at that too. But yeah, if you're a grinder, there's no reason for you to ever buy a C8 amp again. I mean, just from before this update, you had no reason to ever buy a C8 amp again. Because if you're a grinder, you're overwhelmed with Chaos 7 amps. I mean, I spent, on the very first day that the material conversion vendor came out, I emptied my vault, so 900, or what, 10,000 Chaos 7 amps I used up on C7 stuff, on getting C8 amps, and I'm already back up to like 4,000 C7 amps. Well, you can't look at the last 3 months there, Terminator. You gotta look at the last 72 hours, man. Come on. Time in Warframe does not apply. You should be happy, Quicksilver. Terminator's been playing Warframe. He is fully framed. How to upgrade flame aura? I mean, the most power you can get on a flame aura is using mass destruction and destruction. And then anti-mods. Now, a lot of newer players don't use anti-mods because it doesn't show the math. So if you come over and look on the tooltip, you don't see the additional damage. But the additional damage is on the enemies, and that's where it matters, you know? It's Dauntless? I thought you were playing... Oh, that's Blade! Oh, I'm so sorry, Terminator. I done called you a PS4 boy. It's Blade and Shelly Lynn that have been playing Warframe. Terminator's doing those full Dauntless carries. You're playing Monster Hunter World too, aren't you? Or are you just doing Dauntless? I couldn't get into either one of them. I know they're both great games. Sorry, Terminator. You know that I know, but it's early in the morning, man. Cut me some slack. I don't have an appropriate caffeine level. That, I mean, calling you, getting you confused with Blade is not exactly being disrespectful. Blade's a beast. Just Dauntless? That's fair. It's grindy, isn't it? My problem with it is not a problem what most people would have. The Sacred Apple. I don't like the character animations in the movement. I mean, that's just a me thing. I'm always a little bit overly critical in games about how a character's model interacts with the ground. Does it feel like they're on the ground and you're actually running across it? Or does it feel like you're gliding or just some unnatural, strange movement? And I get that feeling out of both of those games. Oh man, you gotta get rid of that thing, Quicksilver. Jeez. If you're doing under 3-minute runs, it is. What's up, Dart? Of course I remember you. Every time I turn on my Xbox, it pops up and tells me what you're playing. I don't know why, but it only shows me what you're playing. Literally every time I turn it on. The wife has asked me before who you are. She's like, who's this guy, and why do I care that he's playing Fortnite? She doesn't understand. She plays the Xbox, and other than when I play games with her, she's in a single-player world. She doesn't play any co-op or multiplayer. It's all about her, which is fine. I mean, I know a lot of people like that. Been months since you played Fortnite. That's fair. Shows you how long it's been since I turned my Xbox on. The wife always does it. She's made it quite clear that that belongs to her now. Playing you some Monster Hunter World. Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's a great game, and I've heard nobody really say negative things about it. Everybody that I know playing Monster Hunter World absolutely loves the game. So I can't really say anything negative about it. I just don't like the movement. I don't know. I did try it, and I just don't like it. I don't, you know, it's not every game's for everybody. Monster Hunter World's just not for me. That game has the most potential of any action defense game made in the last decade there, Mr. Alfie. Sadly, they've pretty much abandoned it. The updates that they've made for it over the last 2 years have all been a joke. I should try out Dungeon Defenders 2. I'll give it a whirl. Sounds interesting. Vindictus. I've actually got a full plate right now of games to play, and there's good stuff on the way. I mean, Borderlands 3, there's a Destiny 2 update. This next Path of Exile season looks extremely intriguing. The Diablo, I still haven't finished my seasonal stuff with Diablo 3 for Season 18. What's going on, Cookie? I said hello the first time. But whatever, man. Hello again. And one more time for the third. There, all of your hellos have been answered. I mean, you gotta play Borderlands 3, right? I can't not play Borderlands 3. I absolutely love that franchise. I think it's the most wonderful thing ever. I'm just, you know, I'm gonna play the crap out of Borderlands 3. And then Destiny 2. I really want to play the Destiny 2 expansion as well. Well, it depends. What do you mean by fixed? Did they make it so you can combine those mods again? No, they have not. They said they're going to try to, but sadly, it seems like it's a bit of a technical hurdle for them. That's why I'm not using weapon mans right now. My flame auras and the power setup gets up to like, I think it's like 2.4 or 2.5 mil at tier 1. Alright, next would be Demon's Lair, but I actually want to do Demon's Lair a few times when we get to it. Well, I mean, I don't double stack destruction on my flame auras, Luis. I will be. I'm using mass destruction on my reflect beams. I'm not... It's not a who can get the biggest tooltip number, it's who can win the most maps, right? So that doesn't really... I don't go for maximum damage on any single defense if it has a utility feature at all. And since I'm kind of required to use mass on my reflect beams, I don't go for maximum damage on my flame auras at all. Let's see. Forest Poachers. Misspelled and everything. Perfect. It depends on what build you're going for. There's no way you're getting to 4 million DPS at tier 1 on flame auras without stacking. There's literally no way, unless you've found some sort of cheese. So, I don't believe you, Luis. At tier 5? Or is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about tier 1? Because what I'm talking about is tier 1. Would I use a monk skin that's a giant orange, or just a big... Well, I'm pretty happy with the monk skins we got now. I put all the stuff in there? Yeah, it's all in there. This is... Technically, I mean, obviously it's not hard, per se, but as far as numbers go, this is the hardest incursion we got this week. Oh, well, you can't compare tier 1 numbers to tier 5 numbers. I'm confident I'm more than 4 mil then. When you're comparing your defenses to everybody else, always go tier 1. Don't go tier 5. Always go tier 1, man. What if you don't get your stuff up to tier 5, you know? My lane's already done. Didn't get a aura in for the flyers. I mean, the reflect beams will still hit them. But I'm going to put an aura in anyway. Oh, reflect beams are beast. Does the Broomnado reach up that high? Broomnado is awesome, man. I mean, it's a drop it and walk away ability. It's ridiculously good. $906K is pretty normal. You would get way more power out of them if you got rid of that destructive pylon. You're not using destructive pylon and destruction on a flame aura, are you? Or you mean you have a destructive pylon nearby? You don't want to combine destruction and destructive pylon on the same defense. You actually lose damage by doing that because they don't stack. Gunwitch is an awesome design. If anyone was to ask me what the most fun hero to play is, in my opinion, I would say the Gunwitch. Mass is just another destruction. They don't stack with each other. Don't ever put them on the same defense. But, I mean, technically speaking, there's no difference between destruction and mass destruction. It's the same thing with a power increase, you know? Oh, okay. Well, that's good, then. That's the way to do it there, Luis. Depends on the defense, really. I use Vamp on my Lightning Strike auras instead of Destruction. But on the Flame aura, I usually go with, I mean, I wouldn't put Destructive Pylon on my Flame aura, I don't think. Because I do use it as like a general use lane clear on pretty much everything. But if I was, I would, I'd probably go Deadly Strikes, Destructive Pylon, and then, Encroaching Flames. I mean, Cyborgs are pretty easy, just in their basic core. You got an enemy that disables ground traps, auras, and nodes, right? So what's the very first counter you can possibly use without having any mods or special shards? Well, it would be don't use ground traps, auras, and nodes. No traps, auras, and nodes. A cyborg is just a regular old orc that looks fancy. You know, if you're using towers, a cyborg won't do anything to him. You can't nuke the Demon Lord. If you try to nuke the Demon Lord, you can over damage him and cause him to bug out and go invincible. Demon Lord should be a 3-minute run. Solo, the quickest I've got it down to solo is 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And the quickest I've got it down to in a 2-player group was 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Tenacity C8, yeah, it works too. But I mean, until you get that stuff, you know. That's one of the challenges a lot of newer players have now that are just starting the game, is they start the game and they see how all the veteran players are countering all these enemies, and that requires fine-tuned setups, you know. You just have to go back to the core of what that enemy is and what that enemy does. You know, if you got geodes, then you don't use projectiles. You got cyborgs, well, you don't use trap stars or nodes. You know, you got frost enemies, you always use fire. You know, it's just a lot of those basics they miss out on because they don't, you know, they don't have the core counters down. Oh, I did already, Sultan. Hello, hello. From people from all over the world. Dungeon Defenders 2 has a very... Dungeon Defenders 1 and Dungeon Defenders 2 has a very diverse international community. It's awesome. Yeah, there's people from all over the world. Well, I mean, the 1 amp warrior build is based off of having a Chaos 8 10 out of 10 tenacity. You don't need a 10 out of 10 tenacity, or you don't need tenacity if you're not going for that build. But if you're going for that specific build, that's the core of the build, is having that on your reflect beams. You don't need it anywhere else. You see a lot of folks building their proton beams across the lane like this. The problem there is you end up needing another tenacity. If you put your proton beams behind your reflect, you don't need a tenacity. It works, Sacred. It just doesn't show on... You're not going to see it in the conventional way. If you plop like a flame aura down on a dummy in the tavern... In fact, I'll go to tavern after this next one. But if you plop a flame aura down in tavern and then put a frostbite there, you're going to see the damage go up. You would get rid of destruction or mass destruction if you're going for a petrify setup. I'll take. If you're not going for a petrify setup, if you have your reflect set up to petrify, you're going to be using shattering torpedo. Well, shattering torpedo is a required mod in the petrify setup, or a required shard. Vicious strikes, although is not required, it is very highly advised that you increase the range. So there you've got 2 shards that you really need in the setup. So your only option would be to get rid of destruction. I'll show you here, Sacred, as soon as we get out. When we get this map done, I'll show you how to test them. I'm on US West. I always play on US West unless I put it in the comments. I do streams every now and then from EU. The EU server's been a bit of a train wreck lately from what people are telling me. That's unfortunate. Zapper going where he wants. What's going on there, Thaden? How you doing? A lot of people are saying there's been really bad performance issues on EU. EU generally has more players. I mean, like, that's the place you go for markets and stuff. You normally see more players online and more things for sale, etc. But, I mean, every server has had spells. US West had it a couple months ago where it was really bad. You know, sometimes one server is just performing better than another, you know. Alright, so let's head on over and I'll show you how to test these out. Well, I mean, you should never leave a mod at C7 and take it to C8. I don't matchmake from town, so I don't really ever get affected by that. If I'm doing group runs, I just set up a public run, or I do it through the Steam group or through Discord. But I'm never just kicking it in town. What's going on, Laura? How you been? So anyway, what do we got here? What do we got? Let's see. Let's say... Let's just say, for example, we throw down a Fisher right here. Now, this Fisher... Don't look at the DPS. Don't look at anything else. Only look at lava damage. This Fisher is doing 297,000 per tick, right? So then, if we put a Frosty in the mix, and we get that Frosty power going, now we see it's bumped up to 355,000 per tick. You can see it cycle back and forth when the Frosty ends, when the Frosty power ends. So, I mean, it's definitely working as intended. No doubt about it. Alright, we got one more map to do, right? Let me get through my inventory here real quick. Only one C8 amp today. Oof. Nah, Frosty Power is straight up a damage increase. Frostbite Tower passes 33% of its defense power stat to defenses within its Frost Aura. So if you look at its defense power stat, is 61,000. 1/3 of that is being passed on. Now, I obviously don't have very good frostbites. But also destruction does not factor into that. So throwing destruction on your frostbite won't help you out. Oh, no, no. It's the range of the little cloud around the enemies. So if you put a defense here, it's not going to do anything to it. It's got to be in that cloud. They're the same. Drop chance, all-tech. It's just that map is quick, and you can run it fast. Alright, let's see. How did I take... I thought I put mass destruction back on. I never put my mass in there, even after talking about doing it. What would I use on explosive traps? I got mixed emotions on explosive traps. This is what I'm using now. Defense range, defense rate, and proactive traps. But it's because I don't have... I'm not even using a defense rate shard. I should be using a defense rate shard on there too. Proactive traps, I actually don't recommend. Although, at full power against the target dummy, it does amazing things. The problem with proactive traps is every time... Every time you upgrade it, the charges get set back to 0. So basically you need your proactive traps to attack 100 times to get it up to max power, right? Well, every time you upgrade it, that counter goes back to 0, which is a huge, huge downside. Oh, it was all about the frosty traps back in the day. There's no doubt there. Well, it depends on if you don't want to use Embermount Flames, Sacred Apple. That one's a POS. If you're using them, like I only use my fishers for just frost lanes. I don't use them for general use, so I've got them catered to just frost. So anti-frost, anti-orc, and defense rate. Now, if I would have had an anti-melee at the time, I would have made that anti-melee instead of anti-orc. But since I didn't, I went with the enemies that are giving me the hardest problem, which are frost orcs. Alright, what were we doing here? Do I have any fancy schmancy weapons? Not a one. Crappy roll on that lunar portal staff. There's nothing wrong with using any combo defenses, Vincer. I mean, one or the other. As long as you get to a windscreen is the only thing that matters, you know? Alright, let's get that, let's wreck that Demon Lord's face in a few times here before we call it a day. Well, I mean, if you were to ever bring back a reason to use walls, the dummy is exactly what I would go right for, because it's so cheap now. They changed it back where it's 20 DU, making it the cheapest wall in the game. So, I mean, if you're going to use walls, why not use the cheapest one, right? I mean, a wall's a wall, as far as its core function. And they're cool. They definitely have a cool factor. Ah, crap, man, I put that on private. Well, I mean, the only time to use trees is if you need the buff, or if you're building with the Dryad. Let's try it public this time instead. What do you guys think? Oos live. We got the Oos. Well, yeah, next week, or the week after next. I think next week we get Malthius. The week after we get Power Surge. The tree spam will be real. I was actually going to post a video about it prior, but I don't want to post a video and then have Chromatic change it based off of that. I got Phoenix in match. I'm going to have to harass him. You don't even need that stuff down there at the boss. He's so easy to burn through the phases. I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting it there and AFK in it, but you certainly don't need it. I mean, it don't get much lazier than me, Phoenix. I feel you there. Oh yeah, the Armored Cleanser, back when it was good. Such a shame that bow got changed. That thing was the stuff. Well, far as poachers, you don't want to use pure damage. They're quick. Far as poachers, get you some CC going, man. Going all on their ankles. You hate that map? I don't mind that map. That was actually the farm map back in the day. Way back when, that was the map to farm, 100%. I never really got sick of the map, I'm surprised, but I did that map a bazillion times. Back in the old setup. Now, I told you to avoid using CC on chrome enemies there quick, not on forest poachers. Maybe we were on a different wavelength there. I thought you were talking about chrome enemies. I don't know. That's what happens when you send me messages the second you see me come online. You know I need some coffee, Quicksilver. I am like one tiny little step above brain dead when I wake up in the morning. I don't know about you all, but... I'm like just a step above. You know, my body has motor functions like where I can get up and walk to the coffee maker. But that is literally about it. Well, I mean, Omni always has some sort of interaction. That's why. I mean, it's just easier that way, term, is all. I mean, we know at the core of all problems, it's always Omni's fault. So, I might as well just not even get into any of it and just skip right to that point. Well, you never want to use full CC or full, you know, you never want to use all of one, you know. You're always best to have some strong power in with your crowd control. You already know all that, Quicksilver. You'll beat it fine. Quicksilver pretending like he can't beat maps. Give me a break. You know damn well you're gonna steamroll it. Come on, little map. Load up for me. Cyberpunk 2077 looks really cool, Jacob, I think. I didn't get to watch all of that live stream, but I did check out some of it. I think it looks pretty damn cool. We got a long way for that one still, though. Next year. Did you get to watch all of that live stream? I definitely missed the majority of it. You watched the NVIDIA video? Fair enough. Oops. The super derp on the reflect. We'll go with it. Woken up and just fell. I'm not to that point yet, Saker, but give me a few more years. Well, the monk is the natural go-to from the original 4. Their ankles. Everybody's got a monk. Everybody's got the original 4 heroes for free, just from playing through the campaign. So the monk's flame aura is fire damage. That is the natural. Stream's not lagging for me at all. Looks fine. If you're measuring the distance by how long it took me to answer based off of when you typed it in, remember that I'm not sitting here staring at it, so I didn't answer the second you typed it in. It was scrolled up the page a little by the time I answered you. I try to catch everybody, but I'm far from perfect in that regard. Far from perfect. I was gonna say, what the hell, Phoenix? I thought you were running these balls. Well, I mean, then you need to get more range on your flame arrows. Or, you know, get deadly strikes on there. Place them in a way so that it's inconvenient for them to reach them. You know? Play with different setups. I mean, you'll get it. You'll figure it out. But I mean, if you just have the original 4 heroes, you've only got 2 choices for fire damage, and that's, you know, without using mods, obviously. And that's flamethrowers, and flamethrowers will get frozen. Their range is even worse. Yeah, it's 100%, Damien. You do the 3 maps, you get the hyper shard. It's a guaranteed thing. It's more like completing a quest than it is a drop. So it's not repeatable. You can't get them more than once. I got them all on launch day, Damien. I've already done these maps hundreds of times over. This is actually, like I said, this is going to be a shorty stream today, so this will probably be the last run here, sadly. But yeah, I had the hyper shards, you know, within a couple of hours of the update hitting back on Wednesday. I got some grind in up front. Lag spiking around, huh? We get all 3? Looks like it. And next week will be the same way. We don't get a hyper shard next week, but I'll have that map completed within 15-20 minutes of the update going live. Nah, protons don't have a range value. So range, there's nothing for it to affect. That would be cool if there was a way to do something with that. That's never been a thing as far as I know, Luis. You've never been able to trade tinkered gear. Unless it was some kind of glitch that was console specific. That's not something I've ever heard of. So whatever that was, as far as I know, it's fixed. But that's not really, like I said, it's not really something I've heard of before. Is he already up there? He too quick. It's not a drop. It's, you complete this zone, you get this shard. It's specific. The very first one is Destructive Pylon. The very second one is Explosive Shielding Guard. So you do the first 3 maps, you'll get Destructive Pylon. You do the second 3 maps, you'll get Explosive Shielding Guard. And you can take that Explosive Shielding Guard, cry about it, and throw it right in a ditch. Because it's... I mean, it's right at the beginning. You know, what can you say? You know they're not going to give us the best shards right up front, right? Oh, he got it already again. Good lord, man. Phoenix with the hacks. Hacks. I call hacks Phoenix. Hacks. That was actually why my Lava Mancer was in my deck. I ain't gonna lie. when I was playing around with that solo, I was doing some speed runs. I actually took all my Squire's gear and threw it on my Lavamancer. That way I could at least do a little something. I didn't bother with any of his shards, as you see. But I took all of my Squire stuff and threw it on my Lavamancer. It's terrible damage, but it's enough to get the job done for that map. And then, of course, it gives me the super speedy. But I'm putting out, like, what, 4 million, 5 million DPS? Yeah, there was a 6 mil there. But the benefit I get is I actually kill what I've been doing is killing them from range, then swapping to the Lavamancer, running in and picking them up, and then running them up with the Lavamancer. That would be my guess, Terminator. I think you're right on point with that. I think that Mass Destruction and Vicious Strikes will be the last two. Nah, Destructive Pylon doesn't stack. The benefit you get from 2 of them is you can set up 2 different defenses. Like, I haven't set my second one up yet, but everybody knows I use Destructive Pylon on my Lightning Strike arrows. So what I'm going to do is set up Destructive Pylon on Sand Traps as well, because in my opinion that's the second best thing. You know? Another 20 DU defense that can be slapped in anywhere that also provides utility. You know, the Lightning Strikes will always be my baby, because Lady Orcs don't like me very much. So I got Lightning Strikes for the Lady Orcs. But Sand Traps are definitely a good second choice. Explosive Traps would be as well. Any 20 DU defense that you can pop in the middle of everything very easily. My little lava boy. Anyway, everybody, that is going to get it for today. I'm not positive, so don't count on this. But there is a chance that there could be a PvP live stream, Destiny 2, later on today over on Twitch. And if it happens, just to give everybody fair warning, hide the women and children, because it will be juice unfiltered with extra pulp. So if that stream does occur, it will be mature audiences only, as there will be some very foul things being discussed as we wreck people's faces and make them cry miserably. So yeah, anyway, I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but if it does happen, it will be on Twitch. I can't do it on YouTube because I'll actually get a community strike for the foulness that will happen, because it will be full teabags, it will be full dancing on corpses, and it will be full of foul language and belittling everyone. The PvP side comes out, you know. What's going on, Terrence? But anyway, thank you all so much for swinging by. I do appreciate it. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic weekend. I won't be live again on YouTube until Wednesday. I will be streaming Patch Day Live on Wednesday, going through the new map, as soon as the update hits. So I know a lot of folks will miss that because they'll be in school or whatever. But it will be Wednesday early for me, soon as the update goes live. But anyway, thank you all an absolute ton. I really do appreciate everybody's support. So stoked to see people still showing some love for DD2, as it is a great game. You know, despite all of its miscomings, it is an absolutely wonderful game. But anyway, thanks a ton, everybody, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy.